Greetings, Patrick here. 8 questions with. And it's Wednesday, a very cold Wednesday, but no rain. No rain. That's a good thing. Okay. So last night, yesterday, we were supposed to interview actress Heather Fraley, and we heard reports that she was caught in some really bad weather and lost power, and that is indeed the case. She was caught with no power. She was underneath a tornado warning, and she didn't get power till I'm not even sure she's got it still. I pinged her. I can say that Heather is okay. Her and her daughter are fine. That's a good thing. That's the only important thing. Um, so we're gonna try to reschedule her as soon as we can. Um, and we will. Just glad that she's safe. It always like I said before, it's like whenever a guest doesn't show up like that without anything at all, and I immediately start thinking the worst. It's like I just want them to be fine. Um, that's all the only thing that matters to me. So I'm glad to say that Heather Faley is fine, and she will be back on 8 questions with. We're going to try either schedule for later in the month or maybe February, one of the two, depending on her schedule and availability of her power. Um, Hi, Echo. How are you? How are you? So we are back tonight with our now our first show of the week. We're going to be talking to a young actress, Grace Juliana, and she will be here in about 15 minutes or so. So I'm glad you're here for this, man. I thank you guys yesterday for the support. That was a lot of fun. That was amazing. Um, you guys really rolled out for Heather, and I really hope you guys roll out for Grace as well. And then tomorrow we got one of our own on. We have our good friend Dell from Dell on Movies. I'm sure he's been sitting over there going, wondering why. Wow, Patrick has hardly said anything to me at all since we booked this interview. But that's how I do it. Um, I stay in touch just enough to let you know we're doing a show and what have you. But I do tend to stay away a little bit because I want our conversation to be totally fresh, fresh and organic, and so that's how I do it. I don't have a lot of contact with the person I'm interviewing, and Echo and Mike in the chat could tell you that as well. When I book you to do a show, I sort of go quiet. That's because I want everything to be, like I said, fresh and organic, and like I haven't seen you in a long time, and so yeah, but we will have Dell on the show tomorrow, and we will be talking to him about movies, his series Movie Swap, um, job change. He put out a video saying that things will be changing up for him coming up real soon, and so it's going to affect his YouTube channel a little bit. I did watch that and commented on that. Um, but he'll be here tomorrow. I was actually wondering if that was going to affect our interview, but no, we're good to go. Hey, there's Mike. All right. So that I was that yeah yesterday. Whew, that was a weird one. I got to tell you, but I sort of knew. Like I said, I just wanted our guest to be fine. Um, and yeah, and she was. That's the first and foremost thing. Um, but we got a lot of entertainment still left to go in the month for sure. Starting with tonight with Grace, tomorrow with Dell, Friday. We'll see us talking with Raymond Murray uh, um, from um, from Cinephobia releasing. Me and Al Lucard, aka the Bat, will be here for that one. On Saturday, we got Jennifer. I mean, we got Elizabeth Chamberlain will be here on Saturday, the 13th at 3 p.m. Hopefully everybody's doing well. We are actually supposed to get some snow for the first time this year. I mean, real snow. It's supposed to be coming in, I think Thursday. So tomorrow, I think tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, there will be snow on the ground. Um, I think after this show here, I'm gonna pony myself out in the dark and run to the store to do a little bit of late night shopping before that hits. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna probably be doing that. That's if I can get myself out of here. Um, all right. So we do got like we are working on February. Um, we are working hard on February. We already got some very fun guests coming back to visit us. We got some new faces coming in to say hi. The show's doing really well as far as getting guests. I already got half the month already booked already, and that's it took me almost forever to get January booked, but February has been a much easier, and then, of course, that will lead me to the most difficult month to book, and that will be March. March is hell, but I think we're going to be fine. Now that we have changed our scope to Women in Horror Month to Women in Film Month, I think we'll have a much easier time filling the holes yeah, for the show. That is hard. That is hard. Women in Horror Month, especially when you're trying to fill 3 dates a week. If it was just one date a week, not a problem. That'd be easy. But trying to do a three, and then I had the crazy idea of trying to do it 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. I said, oh, I can finding actresses will be a piece of cake. Not so fast. Not so fast. Not as easy as it appears. Um, all right. So, what else is going on? Let's see. Oh, of course, we got to shout out our two sister shows. Let's do that. So, of course, tonight at 10:30 on Hobbs Horror's channel, we have the Midnight Hour. They will be up and running. I have no idea what's going on over there tonight. Um, though think, I think a segment of the show is going to be coming back soon. Yes, I won't speak about it in detail because I don't want to get ahead of myself. But I have a feeling an old segment of the Midnight Hour will be coming back. I, for one, am hoping so. And when I whispered that into Josh, I told Josh, I said, that segment that was like one of the most popular things that we did on the Midnight Hour, and the numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. Um, and so hopefully he'll take that to heart and run with it. Because I would love to see it back personally. I would. I think I really would. I would like to see the segment back. Of course, we also have House of Horrors every Saturday night from 8 to 10. 8 to 10, 8 Eastern time until 10 o'clock. Now, I know Mike also will be getting up his interview series back up and running. Um, I know he's done his panel chat already. I'm going to wait till he sees it once he gets his interview segment up and back and running. I will let you guys know about that as well. Um, I will also be going back behind and fixing up all the past interviews. Some of them I noticed I did not fill out the description boxes, so I will be going back to doing that as well. Um, so if you guys have missed the show or watch it and you want to know more about the person we talked to, I will be providing links for that. Yeah, I didn't realize I had got started getting away from me. All right. Um, yeah. Uh, uh, I caught I caught the live stream podcast from Christy Adams from Nightmare Toys this afternoon, and she was talking about the new horror movie Night Swim that James Wan produced and that came out on Bloomhouse Films. Um, and that movie came out, and I, I Bloomhouse is an interesting studio. When it does rated R fare, it really rocks it. It really does. A lot of the movies that they do rated R for the Bloomhouse do very well. They're very good. But man, they're the movies that they put out for PG-13. It seems to me they really struggle quite a bit. with the restrictions between an R and a PG-13. Now they've had a couple of PG-13 films that popped a little bit, but for the most part, they don't. I don't know why. I would love to see someone break that down and talk about it. Um, because I think it's interesting. It's not like I can't imagine they don't know how to do a PG-13 movie, but it seems like they don't. Um, so I, I I guess Night Swim is coming out and it is not doing well at all. Though it's going to make money. It's going to make money because they only made it for $15 million. I didn't see a whole lot of promotion for it, so I probably not too much spent on promotion. And it's made for 15 million bucks. They probably spent another 10 million promoting it, maybe. So 25 million in all in. And I think last I saw, they already made the production costs back, which is $15 million. So they won't, it'll do well this coming weekend because there's nothing coming out to compete against it really, other than I think the Beekeeper, which I got to be honest with you. I think this is the first time I've ever watched a Jason Statham trailer and just completely cared less. Uh, it it just sounds like a really hoary, old, typical. This sounds like a movie that he would do in his early days. Early days. Like I thought that he got away from that a little bit, but now here he comes. I guess Liam Neeson was off that week or something. Um, but he's going to come back and he's going to do a movie called The Beekeeper, which it looks like Shaw without Hobbs, right? Um, I love Jason Statham. He's one of my favorite action heroes, but I'm more interested in Christian Sesma's new movie called Lights Out. Now that looks like a lot of fun. That I saw the trailer for that today, and yeah, that looked pretty tight. I got to tell you, um, good cast too. Good cast. Let's see. I want to make sure I ping ping. Okay. Um, so yeah, I that's the movie. I'm not really, like I said, I'm not really. Oh boy, did I freeze? I think I froze. Yep. Hold on. Yeah, it's good old. Ah, damn it. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Once again, got to count on StreamYard for fun, right? All right. So that's what's been going on. I don't I was interesting listening to her talk. She mentioned a couple of other movies that she watched this month as well. I guess there really wasn't anything outstanding as far as horror goes that she was excited about. So that's sort of that, but that doesn't mean that there's not good stuff out there because there is. And in fact, there are a couple of movies I want to bring attention to, um, that'll be coming out soon. One is going to be Black Mass. That's going to be has already been released. That one's been out for a while, playing festivals around the world. And that one stars Devaney. That one's being done by Devaney Penn. Um, and the other one I want to talk about, and we're going to be talking to one of the stars of the movie. Um, and what's funny because I mentioned that I was gonna bring back some of the other guests that I've had on the show, and of course, I have to go back there to bring down one of the best, right? But I'll tell you about that in a little bit because right now our guest is here. The doorbell is ringing, so let's go get our guest, Grace Juliana.
Hi.
Hi, how are you, Grace?
Hi. I am awesome. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
I am tickled to death to have you. Wow, you have a fun background.
I
Uh, I'm impressed.
bet that you're tickled to death. I'm gonna use that.
That's right. I'm tickled to death. If every time you do press, they don't
Yeah.
come at you with the first line. In fact, I'm tickled that you're here. I think you just get up and go.
Okay.
Just
I will promise you I will do that from now on because that is
that's
the cutest thing ever and I deserve that.
that's right. So for now on, any podcast that you do, that's going to be part of it. Is like the host has to sit there and say, "We are tickled that you are here with us." If they don't, the interview's over.
Thank you. That's what I deserve. Thank you so much for recognizing that.
Thank you so much. I'll be here all week. And if you need managing help, let me know. I'm here for that too.
Excellent. Are you
God, I would. You know how long I probably last in the ocean of managers? I probably would drown within the first 10 minutes. I probably would be. I'd be so lost. Oh, what exactly they do and how they do it. I would just be like, give her 20 million bucks. I don't know. I don't know exactly how a manager works as far as getting as far as working with the client. You talk to actors and actresses or artists, singers, songwriters, and they always say, well, I'm represented by. And
Yeah.
you always sit there and go like if you read the trades, right? The trades will say, so and so is represented by. Then there's like five names behind it, and you go like, so how does that work? What do they do? Do they work every single day on you? Do they have like a client list of like 40 people and every single day they make phone calls on those people? I just don't know. I would like to know.
If they are a good manager, they are working for their client 24/7. And I think a lot of
Mhm.
actors, especially me in the past, we forget that. The manager and the agent, they're working for you, not us. I mean, I do think it's a team effort, but they are working for us, the artists, to get us auditions.
Yeah, it's gotta be really, yeah, I mean, I know I have dealt with some agents from some booking agents from music,
Right?
and those guys they have steel. I enjoyed it. That part there, I admit, I enjoyed. I see. I interacted better as someone who was trying to acquire the talent. Now, if I was like an executive producer or casting director, and I was calling your manager or your agent up, that I could handle. But representing, them calling me about booking you, I would be lost. Um, do you go over that with your representation? Do you guys sit down and ask, like, because like what are you going to do for me and how are you going to do it? Do you interview? Because I've heard both sides. I've heard that sometimes they come to you and they say, I love to represent you, and then there's sometimes where you go to them and say, I'd like for you to represent me. How does that work? How did it work for you?
This is such an honest answer because right now I'm actually looking for a manager. I would love a manager. I have a great agent, but a manager is someone that is supposed to put their client in the door, um, in meeting with directors, producers. It's more so than just getting auditions. It's more being up close with people in the industry. A manager is supposed to push their client to do better, and that's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. Now, this year, I am going to be working on some projects, so I'm. What I want is a manager to come up to me and ask me if I'm interested in meeting with them. I don't want to reach out to a manager. I mean, I totally could, but I want them to come to me because I feel like when they come to me, that's when they really mean business. And they obviously have seen my work, they've seen my credits, they like my look, and they think I'm marketable and profitable. So they're doing half the job right there. If they could save me some time from reaching out to them, I would love that. But yeah, a manager puts you through the door, and an actor could find a manager themselves, or the managers could come to us. I do think managers more so reach out to the actors that they see in a movie and a TV show, and maybe they look them up on IMDb and they see if this person is represented and if they're looking for someone. So that's how it works. But actors, artists in general, we are allowed to reach out to them, but it's always flattering when they come to us.
I would think that they would be. I think them coming to you would be more put you in a position of strength. You know, like they want you, and you know that they want you, and so when you guys negotiate and talk, it's probably easier for you to get a good deal. Maybe take a shade off points or whatever. Maybe instead of paying 20, maybe you only pay 15% because they want you, and they think that. To me, it's like a good manager should be able to sit there and say, I'll take 15% instead of the usual 20 because I'm that good and I can keep you that busy.
I would love for a manager to say that to me. That's what I'm looking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the best platform. Maybe someone will see this and come to me, but a manager really needs to put in the work.
Hmm.
Just like us actors, we put in the work for our auditions. Even if we don't get the job, we always, at least me, we always put in 110% for the audition because that might be our only chance to impress this casting director. So we're putting in all of our hard work and we don't get paid for auditions. Then the
No.
should be putting in all of their hard work to get us through the door. I mean, I was telling my mom the other day, like I don't like, yes, I want auditions, but I want offers. I
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
offers. I don't want to
Yeah.
be on a veil. I want offers. Being on a veil is great. Being on a veil is when the casting asks if we're available for the film, for the shoot dates, but we don't get a full on offer yet because everyone is talking. The production team is talking, director, producer, they're seeing if they like us or not. So right now, we're on a veil. I've been on a veil. I want more offers. So it's that time. It's that year.
Our chat is here, and our good friend Eden is here, and he said hello to you, Grace.
Hey.
Um, and glad you're here, Eden. Glad you're here. Share us out if you can, if you will. Um, Yeah, I was just thinking about that, because I was looking at your background and I'm going like, when you said that you're looking for a manager, I was a little bit surprised by that because your background is so strong. It's like it's really cool. You have a really strong background already. You've worked on some really cool projects. And I just think it just, a good manager should be able to take what you offered and start shaping that out for you. And you already said you got a good agent, so that helps out too. How's work coming? Now the strike's over with. Has it been? And then you went through the holiday. It ended right through the holidays, right? It's like, okay, the strike ended. Now we're in the holiday season. Now we're in January. So how has it been for you getting back into the saddle as far as doing auditions and looking for openings and what have you? How's that been for you? Has it been hard getting back into the routine, or did it seem like yesterday that you're back into it and you didn't lose a step?
I don't think I lost a step, but yeah, I mean, the auditions have been coming. I think ever since the beginning of January, we're 10 days in. I've had 3 auditions, and that's just been lovely. No, things are picking up really quick. Because of the strike that stopped everything, the shows that are filming right now were already filming like right before the strike happened. A lot of writers are writing now. I don't believe there's any new content. Like I just said, everything that's filming now, it's because it was filming before. So writers are writing, and hopefully there'll be a lot more opportunities. I'm hoping by the spring. Should be picked up by the spring because I still know a lot of production people, uh, assistant directors, writers, they're not working. So I think things will really get picked up by springtime. But as for me as an actor, I've been auditioning and it's been great. I've had a hell of a time. I love auditioning. If you're an actor, you have to love auditioning. If you don't love auditioning, then you can't be in the game. I mean, yeah, they get annoying, but you have to do it.
Now this is you have to do your own self tapes, of course. That's still going on. But I have been hearing rumblings that they're going to start going. I was hearing rumblings that they were going to start going back to in-person auditions. And as I'm starting to hear that now, and I'm starting to see more and more artists basically say that they really want to go back they really want to go back to face-to-face auditions. But now all of a sudden, now we're starting to get that COVID sweep all over again, the winter COVID, right? Here it comes. And now I could actually see people going like, well, that's a good idea. Let's do some self auditions. But after this latest COVID, then here comes COVID again to interfere with that. Is it a little bit frustrating? Do you like doing self tapes versus in person? And have you sensed that feeling among your peers that they too would like to do more in person auditions versus self tapes?
Good question. I think there's pros and cons for both. Self tapes are great because as an actor, we could do multiple takes and we have a lot of liberty. We could choose what we send into casting. We could do however many takes we want, and we could pick the best one and send it in. And we also could film with our actor buddies. That's always a lot of fun. I filmed with my one best friend who's an actor, and we just have great chemistry. So I feel blessed for that. In-person auditions are great because you feel the energy of the casting director or the casting associate. They see how cool of a person you are, and they immediately start to like you. Even if your audition's not, whoa, amazing. If they like me, Grace, as a person, they might want to hire me or they'll remember me.
They'll remember.
So that's what's great about in-person auditions. The cons about an in-person audition are we have to actually drive in to the audition. We have to take time out of our day. A lot of us have day jobs. I have a day job. So we have to stop that, and then we have to go into the audition. So that's what's annoying. And I think what's great about self-tapes is you could film the audition whenever you want, and you get like 4-5 days to do it. So you get some time. But in-person auditions are nice because you get to make a connection with the casting director. I honestly love auditions via Zoom or like video chat because it's really intimate. You guys could go back and forth and mingle for a bit, but you're also in the comfort of your own home. So, right. And you could also sometimes choose your time slot. So maybe you don't have to take off of work. I do casting directors. I haven't asked. I really have not asked, but I'm assuming casting directors like virtual auditions or self-tapes because they don't have to rent out an office for the in-person audition. I think it saves them a lot of money. That's what
I would think that the self audition to me I hear both sides of it. I personally feel like I like the idea of the fact that you could do in person because you're right. There's a lot of aspects of, and to me, it's like what's really cool too is that the self tape is like it's perfection, right? Yeah. So you go out there and you could do that like 5 or 6 times until you get it right, and then you send it in there. And it's absolutely spot on. But then you have to go. Then you have to show up, and you have to be that person right then and there. Where self tapes is, they do give you a little bit of room to like, okay, let me, maybe you get another take, or maybe you can, to me, it's like when you do a in-person audition, you're gaining experience there too, like learning to adapt to a script change, adapt to working with a different scene partner. I mean, you work with your best friend, that's great for self-tape, but what happens when you have to work with somebody you don't know?
Yes.
To me, it's like, there you go. You got to gain experience doing that. That way you feel comfortable doing it there too. And I was, like I said, I've been hearing a little bit rumblings of that people really wanted to go back to that. But now, like I said, now that COVID seems to be returning a little bit. I don't know.
Go back to an in-person audition. It's been a while for me because of COVID. So I would love to go back. I just, like I said, I think there's pros and cons for both. Yeah.
Tell us about your best audition that you ever did, and tell us about your worst audition that you ever did. The one that you could, or the one that got away that you would love to do over again.
The worst audition I ever did, I got a panic attack inside the audition room. I didn't know it back then. It had to be a panic attack because I started shaking. So
Oh,
I started shaking because I started off so good and confident, and then all of a sudden I flubbed a line. And when you flub a line, you're supposed to fix it and keep going, or you're supposed to say, "Stop, can we start over again?" I didn't do that. For some god awful reason, I flubbed the line, and that got me really nervous and gave me anxiety. And then I just remember like shaking my paper, and I just freaked out on
mm,
the spot. That was, when was that? That was 2019. That was before COVID. I was in LA, and it wasn't for anything that I would remember. But I don't ever like doing a bad audition. I don't. I consider myself a perfectionist. So I don't know why I was gonna say the F word. I don't know why I did that. That really bothers me to this day. But it's okay. We all make mistakes. That was my worst audition. You know what? If that ever happens to anyone or me again, all we have to say is, you know what, F it.
mhm.
There are tons of casting directors. There are tons of productions, projects. We will get another audition. And I did. So you
Yeah,
can't let one bad audition just ruin your time. I mean, I just started thinking, oh my God, this casting director is going to tell all the other casting directors I suck. No, that's not the case. They might do that if you curse them out or get mad at them and you're being rude. But if you mess up on your audition, I don't think they're going to badmouth you. Not like, that's just not professional. I mean, everyone has their on and off days. So that was
sure.
my worst audition. My best audition, I really love auditions where they let you do improv. I'm
Mm,
so good at improv and thinking on the spot. I mean, it's just like my favorite thing to do. I'm probably, why am I good at, I don't know. I mean, I've done a lot of acting classes with improv. So when they let you like improvise a scene or improvise lines within the scene, that's when I really shine. That's when I shine. But you asked me specific, well, you didn't. And I didn't tell you my specific for my worst audition, but my best audition ever that I can remember is, we're going back to when I first started out acting when I was 9, when I was in the M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Last Airbender. That was one of my best auditions because I got it. I played young Princess Azula, and that
uh,
was all improvised. The casting director asked me to improvise a scene where I was being a little bitch, because if anyone knows The Last Airbender, Princess Azula is an evil bitch. So she wanted me to improvise a scene where I was mad at someone, and I did. And then I just remember I got the job. So that was one of my best.
I I saw that. I was so impressed. I actually liked that movie. I liked it a lot. I thought the second half, he struggled with the movie in the second half a little bit, but overall, I really thought this cast was really well. I'm a huge Dev Patel fan, so I would watch that guy if he was just reading a newspaper. He's really good. How did you like it? How did you enjoy your experience on that set? Was it a fun set to work under?
That was probably one of the biggest jobs I've done up to date. And I say that because a lot of the jobs I've done TV shows, I've done commercials, independent films, but that was, I think, the highest budget movie I've worked on. That I can imagine that's has a higher budget than the TV shows I've done. I remember it being really fun, but it moved really, really quick. Like as soon as I did my scene, and I just had one little scene where I was improvising, laughing at my brother Zuko because our dad gave him the scar on his face. And I remember laughing at him. That was it. I just had to improvise that. And it was 5 minutes, and then poof, we were done. So, in the span of 5 minutes, a bunch of crew, like lighting guys, the gaffers, M. Night, everyone was there. I don't even know how many people. Let's just say 100. And then 5 minutes, when my 5 minutes was done, boom, they all left, like super quick. And then I was done for the day because I only had one scene. So it was a quick experience. but it was really awesome. M Night, of course, he came up to me. I remember him being nice,
Yeah,
and the guy who played my dad. Let me look up. This will be really quick. His name was Curtis something. Oh yeah, Cliff Curtis. He played my
yeah.
dad in the
Oh,
movie. He was really nice to me. He was really nice to me. He came up to my mom and he said, "Your daughter's a good little actress." I remember it. He was a good guy. Everyone
yeah.
was.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, wow, that's really cool. You got to work on that movie because, of course, now that everybody, I know a lot of Airbender fans. There's so many of them, and I know a lot of them. They weren't. They struggled with the movie. They struggled with it. As you got
Yeah.
older, more and more Airbender fans. Um, and did you pay attention to? Do you even today? Do you still pay attention to your press about past movies that you've done? I mean, do you ever Google yourself and see what's being said?
Uh, I've Googled myself. Yeah. I mean, I'm not at the point of my career where people are talking about me every day. I want to be at that point of my career and I will be, but I'm not at that point where I could Google myself and people are like, talking about what I'm wearing. But if I when I do Google myself, there are some interviews that I've done, and I mostly this is horrible for me to say, but I've checked out my IMDb to see if my score is good. I mean, all of us actors do it.
That's
Yeah,
I was gonna say, don't feel bad about that at all because I know so many that do that every single day. They
I,
are. I had
I
one
have a
actor. Yeah,
yeah, I have a theory that I think some actors. I shouldn't say it, but I think some actors like
have their
go.
have their fans hit their pages.
Yes, I think
Yeah,
some actors have like Facebook groups or some
they
type
do.
of group, and it's like actors going on different IMDb pages because everyone's like helping each other build up their score. I think that might be true.
He-
Of
he-
course,
he- Here's the
but
weird thing about that, Juliana. Is it Grace or Juliana with you?
it's Grace. Juliana's my middle name. It's my stage name is Grace Juliana. You could call me either, but you could call me Grace.
Um, I've seen groups, Grace, on Facebook, and it was really weird to me. I'll tell you the truth. I'm in a few of those because sometimes though I haven't done had to do that too much lately, but sometimes when I was just getting started on the show, doing the show, I would go inside those groups and I would look for interviews. I would ask people to come over and chat with me. And what really got me was the fact that I would be sitting in there and I would sit there and say, and these are all people going over to somebody else's page. I went over your page. I looked at XYZ credit. And I'm sitting over here and I'm typing in there and going like, who would like to do an interview with me for 8 questions with? I hear crickets. I wouldn't get any responses. I'd be sitting there going like, so let me, and I come from a publicist background. And I'm going like, so you rather sit in here among your peers, typing in somebody else's IMDb page, rather than doing an interview with somebody else who's going to do promotion for you and giving you a free platform to talk about you and your career. You rather pass that up than rather sit here and hit somebody else's IMDb page. Somehow, somewhere, they got broken in the sense that that's not how you promote yourself. Promoting yourself by going inside of a IMDb group and just hitting everybody's page. For one thing, you don't think they don't know what you're doing? They know. They know that's what you're doing. And IMDb will respond in kind to that. That's why a lot of people sit there and I hear them too. They'll sit there and say, I didn't see my numbers go up. I didn't see it go up because they know what you're doing. Um, but I was really just amazed by how many times people would just not respond. And I would put a past episode of the show into the group so they could see how like I sent to you. I was like, that way you could like see, now they can see like I'll be sharing out this interview with somebody else down the line so they can see how the show works. But I
Right.
was I was blown away by the fact that they passed up on a chance to do free press, free interview. And it was just amazing to me. It's like it was so backwards.
You know why
Um,
I do, Patrick? It's because you it's not like you have your own show on ABC yet, which you might, and you might will, but it's like people only want to interact with people that they think could, bring them somewhere. They don't want to even try with the little people. And I am just honored that you even asked me, because I mean, like I just said a few moments ago, I'm not at the point of my career where everyone's talking about me, where people are looking me up on Google. Like, I'm not at that point yet. I want to be, but I know you have to start somewhere. And
Right.
I'll welcome any free press from, I mean, not anyone, but if I see that you're a cool person and I see that you do this habitually like you, then yeah, I'm going to do it. Because, I think every artist, when they're on the path to, where they want to be, when they're on their come up, they just have to be grateful, and they have to appreciate everyone that comes to them. So
Let's see. Let's see. Our friend Echo. Let's see. Stephen mentions that. Stephen mentions here. Let me mention up here. As I can see, a red carpet moment in this Shockfest is going to rise. Rock and roll, as I can see.
thank you. I know who he is.
Yeah, Steven's our resident publicist. He can actually, I'm sure he can actually understand what I was saying there. As far as the press go. Yeah, you're right, and that's why I tell people, like, I tell people, like, yes, is there a lot of people watching what I do? No, no, not yet, but they will be. But what's more important is the fact that it's evergreen, which means I could push press all year round forever. I can push this out 2 years from now, because your answers are going to stay the same. They're still going to stay relevant, whether it be today or 2-3 years down the line. And two is now your digital footprint increases just that much more. Now, when you Google yourself, now you're in one spot more than you had before. Now you have this on here, and to me, that's part of getting, for independent actors or actresses starting out or what have you. You want to get like this. So, like, when a potential manager does look you up, like, let's see who Grace Julianna's about, types in there, and all of a sudden, instead of having 12 projects, now you have 15, now you have 18, and you're willing to do press, which is a tremendous asset to any manager who's looking to book client. Like, I want to work for you, but will you trust me enough to, when I send you to do something for press, you'll do it. And because a lot of actors, sometimes they sit there, well, I'm too busy, or I'm dragging my feet, or I'm reading the script or whatnot, and they forget that. And to me, it's never been more important to an actor's career than right now than to get good press.
Yes.
So do you guys like you mentioned your best friend who you do run lines with? Do you go out to social activities with your peers? Like, maybe having coffee or having a dinner, or just lounging together, hanging out together. Do you guys ever do that and just talk movies and talk about your careers, and have you heard anything good, or have you done that for yourself? Is that still a viable thing that people do today?
Yes. I have two good friends that are actors. All my other good friends, I mean, they're from school. They're from school. I've kept my besties from elementary school and my good friends from university. But I do have two good friends that are also professional actors. And yeah, we talk about acting all the time. All the time. But that's not only our friendship. But yeah, I mean, we all look out for each other. Like, if I see a breakdown, like if I get an audition from my agent, they usually send out all the characters that they are auditioning for, the casting directors. And if I see a role that's for my best friend, I'm going to tell my best friend to tell their people, their manager and agent. So yeah, we all look out for each other. But our agents and managers are usually the people that get us the auditions. We can only do so much, unless producers or directors come to us and they say, Grace, we love your look, we love your energy, we know what you could do, we've seen your IMDb, we want you in our movie. And then I could say, oh, cool, I would love to do it. Is there a part for my best friend? He or she looks like this, blah, blah, blah. Sure, yeah, let's talk to your friend. So we could do that too. It
Oh,
just
that's cool.
how much power we have. But I'm always willing to help my friends, just like I know they're willing to help us. I mean, I think this industry, entertainment industry, works a lot better when people are nice to each other.
I do too. I do too. I've done, as you can see, I've done 384 of these, and I have yet to meet a single actor that has been bloodthirsty.
Oh,
I've yet to meet one, that's just sit there and say, I'm just for me. I'm just for me. I don't care about anybody else. I wouldn't, they've all indicated that they would help out anybody if they could, and they feel better for it. And it's really weird to hear that coming from the word of, from the mouths of people in the business versus the stuff that we hear outside the business, how cutthroat it is and how people step on everybody on the ladder up to success. And it's like, man, I've been sitting here doing this for, going on 3 years. I haven't seen that. Now and the odds are so uncovering. I mean, it would have showed by now. Somebody would have showed by now that that's what they're about. But I promise you, Grace, I've been talking to tons of people, and I have never heard anybody have that bloodthirsty look. Like, I'm going to fight for a part, and I don't care who gets hurt. I just want it. Um,
I think,
I find that really refreshing.
yeah, no, I agree. I was just going to add on, I think a lot of people that are not in the entertainment industry hate us and they want us to be against each other because they hate the entertainment world. But that's not the case. I do think majority of people in the entertainment industry want to help each other out. I mean, Selena Quintanilla, one of my favorite singers, the Tejano Mexican singer, she said it very clear. She said a quote like, there's a lot of room in the music industry for everyone. There's a lot of room in the entertainment industry for everyone. And it's true. There's always going to be room for more people, and artists should always help each other.
Um,
But I
what's
think
the what's the best piece of what three pieces of advice have people given you have benefited you the most in your career? And who were they, and how did it apply to your career?
three pieces of advice. OMG. Oh, oh my God. Okay. I have gotten so much advice. Okay. Yes. Have harsh, no. Have, what is the phrase? Have rough skin, have harsh skin, you know,
Have
because,
thick skin.
yeah, my God. I speak three languages and English is my first language, but sometimes I mess it up. But English is my first language. Okay. Have thick skin because you are going to be getting told no a lot in this industry, but that doesn't mean you stop. That means you keep going. I got that from my mom. Have thick skin. Number two, always stay motivated.
I like that one.
Oh, yes. Always continue to do better and learn. Like, meaning when you're an artist, when you're an actor, you should always want to improve. Like, learn a musical instrument. That's what I'm doing. I'm learning guitar. Dance, speak another language. Because the more versatile you could be, the more motivated you are to do better in this industry, you will. And the more parts you can audition for. So have thick skin. Always stay motivated. And I think the easiest thing is don't give up.
Yeah,
No,
keep charging.
just keep going. I mean, that kind of piggybacks off the first thing I said, have thick skin. But really, you just got to keep going and always continue to do your best, because if you don't give up, you are going to go somewhere.
I agree with that. 100% agree with that. You got your start really early. Was your mom in show business? I mean, you started out your career at 9 by doing a pilot on PBS of all places. Um, you don't really think about PBS too much when you think about TV shows or auditioning or whatnot. But you did. But you got your start auditioning for a PBS show. What was that like? Do you still have fond memories of that experience? Was that your very first thing you ever did as a professional?
Yes. Yeah, that was a PBS show called Finky's Kitchen. It was about three little kids, and one of the little kids, a girl, her dad was a chef, and he owned this restaurant, Finky's Kitchen. And Finky was a talking noodle, and he, a talking animated noodle, and he helped us, the three kids, create healthy dishes to eat because it was just a show for kids about healthy cooking. I think it was ahead of its time. It did not get picked up. We just filmed the pilot. I have tons of fond memories from that show. I mean, that was so much fun. I think we filmed it. Yeah, we filmed it in the city in a big studio. And I remember we had a premiere that I believe was in Philadelphia. No, my mom helped me with that. I mean, when you're a child actor, you need your mom. I mean, you need your parents, but for some reason, I've been hearing it's mostly the mom that puts their child in.
They do.
And
When I was in those IMDb groups, that is one thing I did get. I got a lot of moms asking me if I wanted to interview their child.
yeah, yeah, the moms really put their child in the industry. I'm so thankful for my mom for doing that. She was an actress before she had kids, and then when I was 8 years old and I told her I wanted to do it, she was like, wow, she was so happy because she was an actress. And now that I'm older and I'm more established in my career, she wants to get back into it. But yeah, I mean, the only reason why I'm an actress is because of my mom. And I always told her, and it's the truth, the first big award I get, I will be thanking her.
Of course. I would think every award you'd be thanking her.
And
Moms are important.
moms are so important. It's important to have a good relationship with your mom. I feel bad for the people that don't. Of course, they probably don't for good reasons, but I have a very good relationship with mine, and she gave me my career, so I'm always going to be grateful for her.
It's pretty easy to say that she's your number one supporter.
Yeah. And
So now, after you did the pilot for PBS, and then you started going off Broadway, you started doing live theater at a very young age. Tell us about that. I mean, how old were you when you started on live theater? And do you still do live theater now? I mean, is that something you would do now if someone offered you a part in a play? Would you do another play if you got a call?
I would. And now that we're talking about it, I think I might tell my agent I want more live theater auditions. Yeah, I remember doing a production. I remember doing it. That was really fun. I was the youngest person there. And I think someone wrote an article about me.
Nice,
I remember,
nice.
yeah, someone wrote an article about me. I forgot who it was, but it was a prominent journalist, entertainment journalist at the time. But doing live theater was great. I mean, it's such a different experience because you feel every night, every performance is different because it depends on the audience. The audience feeds the actor. I haven't done it in a while, but I would love to do it again. And now I think we're going to tell my agent that tomorrow I want live theater auditions because
Mm-hmm.
theater is really, I think, where you learn how to be a good actor. Movies make you famous. Theater is where you learn how to be an actor, and TV shows make you rich. It's the truth, but theater is where you really learn to like hone your
Yeah.
skill.
Right, right. And you've done some TV before. You've done, besides the PBS, you've also appeared on another. You also did another show for them. You did a math club. So PBS was that the same people behind the pilot? Did they see you? Did another person see you do the pilot and just ask you to come on do their show?
No, no, the PBS show I auditioned for, that was in California, and that was when I was in high school. That was a lot of fun because I hate math. I hate math, but I ended
You know
up,
that was coming, right? I was going to ask you. I said, "How good are you at math?"
I don't like math. I forced myself to do it in school because, of course, you have to. And I ended up getting this job, and that job ended up being really, really fun. But yeah, I mean, I worked with PBS twice. and I'm definitely open to working with PBS again in the future.
Oh
PBS is
man,
a great channel. Yeah.
they produce some fantastic shows. I mean, they really do. I think it's totally underrated, especially if you're over in England. If you're over on the continent, if you're over there, man, you I I just discovered Perot. I remember when it ran on PBS. I really didn't watch too many PBS shows, but I discovered Perot, and I'm absolutely hooked, crazy hooked on it. It's so good. Um,
Now I need to watch it. Right.
yes, yes. I will send you. I'll send you the. Yeah. Just type in Davis. Suchet Sase. I can't pronounce his last name, but he's so good. That
Okay.
show is great. That show is crazy good. Um, but you've also, like I said, I mean, you did that, and then you started working. Then you started getting some other roles too. You appeared on Scorpion, which
Yeah.
is yes. Now I've seen that show. I saw 2 episodes of that show. Loved it. Loved the
Oh,
show.
that was good. Yeah, I had a co-star role, and I played a sorority sister. I'm thinking about that now. I played a sorority sister, and that was one day. Yeah, that was one day of work. And one of the main characters in Scorpion was going undercover at a sorority house, and she felt totally out of place. And I was one of the sorority girls that was interviewing her. It was
Oh,
funny. It's funny because her character is so not into that world. And then all of us sorority girls were like, hey, like, how are
oh,
you? Like, super bubbly. And she just was not having it. That was a good episode. That was
yeah.
fun.
That seemed like I would think that would be a very fun episode to do. Um, and so how do you prepare? What's the hardest part that you've had to play in your career so far? The most difficult part you had to play, and how did you prepare for it?
Hmm. Well, most difficult. So I usually get asked to audition to be like the popular girl, the sorority girl, or let's just say the bitch, which I love doing. I love being the bitch because I can do that. But I wanted something different. And back in summer 2022, I was on Godfather of Harlem. It's Forrest Whitaker's show. I was on the show dancing because I'm also a dancer. I was dancing salsa. And I was on the show for 3 episodes. We filmed it here in Brooklyn. I remember like it was yesterday. It was so much fun. And I met one of the assistant directors, and I can't say too much because it hasn't come out yet, but one of the assistant directors on that show, now one of my best friends, is working on his own feature film, his first big feature film, and he hired me to be in it.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you. Thank you. It's not out yet. It's in post. But I will tell you my character. My character is this badass young girl who's the leader of a drug cartel. And I've never done anything that like that before. Never, because people have just always seen me as like, I don't know, the CW girl. And I'm saying that because that's what I was told, that I might not have the right look, but the director really liked me as a person, and he thought I could kill it. And he gave me the role. And so in this role, I play like this badass. I mean, I'm
Now
a
see, I think that I love the fact that someone's gonna take the chance on you. You know, a lot of
yeah,
time, a lot of chance. One of the things I've always said to me is like what really makes an actress really stand out for me is when they're not afraid to go ugly. And they're not afraid to roll in the dirt. They're not afraid to to get into a fight. I love that kind of because I love that kind of commitment. There's some actresses that all you see them is they're always in the glam roles, but those that are sitting there like actresses in horror movies or suspense movies, to me they kick ass because they're willing. Like you see them take a tumble, they'll do a bump, they'll do a stunt, and they're doing it, and you can tell them it's them, and they're not afraid to go around not getting makeup on. I love that kind of actor, and that's the kind of actor that I'm attracted to as a viewer.
Oh,
Um, I
right. I
mean,
mean, that's what I want to get into, Patrick. I want to be a scream queen. I want to do horror movies because they're just my favorite. It's my favorite genre. And I do want to get bloody. I do want to get my arm cut off. Like, I just love horror movies. I want to run from a killer. I want to kill a killer. I want to kill a monster. Horror movies are amazing. And that's what really got me into this business. But this gangster movie is like, one step towards that because I am getting rough and dirty. I do have the tattoos. I am a leader of a drug cartel, which is not something, you would see me as. So it's totally different. And I think when this
mhm.
movie comes out, people are going to see that I'm not just, I don't know, the girl next door and I could do badass shit. So,
I'm waiting for the mini series that Sofia Vergara did. She did
yes,
one for Zelda. I so want to see what that looks like. I mean, she's exactly the type of actress that we're talking about. That as
yes,
soon as you think of Vergara, you think of just glam. Just
yes,
beautiful, glamorous. But all of a sudden now she's like people have said you won't even recognize her. You
yeah,
won't
because
even.
wearing
I love that.
yeah, she's wearing prosthetics. She does not look like the beautiful, glamorous Sofia Vergara that we all know. And that's amazing for her. Like, good for
Mhm.
her. She totally did something different that people would not guess to see her in. So that's good for her. And that's an inspiration to me because here she is, this beautiful Latina, and now she's not looking her best playing a horrible character. Like, that's what we want. We want
Right.
versatility.
What do you think of what do you think of people who seem to be having a hard time, they are. What do you think about when you hear the term woke? When people sit there and say, "Well, gosh, like, everybody wants to be on screen, everybody wants to be up there," and it's like, uh, to me, I think it's great. I think there should be more diversity in Hollywood. I mean, I do. I like it. I go for it. I understand the economics of it a little bit more too. I understand that, but do you feel like there's been sort of a backlash against that? I mean, have you ever talked to anybody who felt like now before there wasn't anyone, hardly any representation. Now people say, well, now there's too much. What would you say to somebody like that? Someone who came up there and said, well, gosh, everything I turn on, there's always some minority on TV. What would you say to a person that came up there and asked you about that?
Then don't watch it. That's it, really. Just don't watch
Mhm.
it then. If you're annoyed by minorities getting cast, then you don't have to watch that. There's tons of shows and movies out there that I think everyone could find their niche. I don't
Do you
think
think
it's an excuse to bring other people down because you don't like the way they look or how they identify. If you don't like that, then you don't have to watch it. That's simple as that. I do think there's a lot of versatility in Hollywood now. And guess what? There wasn't 10 years ago,
mm,
20 years ago. Now there is. Now people are saying there's too much. Well, I think it's here to stay. I think it's here to
you're
stay.
you're you're a lot nicer than I am.
Oh,
I see that. When I see people say shit like that, I sort of just blow up about it because
Oh,
I
well,
mean,
yeah, okay. You just can't give those people the time of day.
yeah.
You know, my father always told me there's no point in arguing with stupid. So, but if that's their opinion, that's their opinion. I respect that. That's it.
Oh, just yeah. Um, so you mentioned you want to get into horror movies. You want to get into more thrillers or whatnot. So have you been able to do that? I mean, the
Yeah.
movie I think we're talking about you're going to be doing that's Avenue U, right? Or is that
Oh,
a different movie?
we talked about Ave U. Ave U is not the gangster movie I was just talking about. Ave U is another actual mafia movie, we could say. I don't want to say too much about that. But that it will be out this year. That's all I'm gonna say. It is on my IMDb, so people could look it up if they want. But I do really want to get into horror. Why? Because I think horror is cool, and I think people in every language could understand it.
Yeah.
And I just
I think a high pitched scream is universal language.
that's what I want to say. I think horror is universal. Universal. I think people
Yeah.
that speak French could see that a monster is trying to kill this girl, and they're gonna love it, and they're gonna immediately know it's horror, even if the movie's American. One of my favorite directors is Rob Zombie, and his
Wow, that's heavy. Really, Rob Zombie.
of his movie The Devil's Rejects. That movie is hilarious because you know what? It's bloody and it's also really funny, and the writing is so great. That's why his movies work. The Devil's Rejects is amazing. That's the second movie in the trilogy. So when I saw that movie, I really got into Rob Zombie during COVID. When I saw
Okay.
that, I'm like, damn, this has sealed the deal. He is one of my favorite directors. I have got to work with him. I have to. And he's also from the East Coast. I believe he's from Connecticut, and he's vegan. I'm from New Jersey, New York area. I'm vegetarian. I used to be vegan. Now I'm vegetarian. He would really like me. And I love rock music. I love rock music, metal music. That's my favorite. So we would really get along. And I love his work.
Are you learning how to play guitar because you want to expand into music a little bit?
I am learning how to play guitar. I'm an intermediate. I still take lessons, and I could play like, I don't know, 15 songs. I still read. I mean, I play with the sheet music. I'm not playing with no sheet music like real guitarists do, but it's fine. I mean, that's just me. It's my comfort to read the sheet music, but that's fine. That is why I'm learning guitar, because I feel like if I'm going to be watching all these horror movies and listening to rock music, I mean, I got to participate somehow. Like, let me get a guitar. So I had 3 in the house, so now they're mine.
Stephen has come up with a question here. It says, I have a question for Grace. Do you believe in ghosts as Shockfest does haunted events?
Yes, I do believe in ghosts.
Uh, Shockfest is that a convention or a is that a convention or is that like a company, Stephen? Do they do haunted houses tours?
It's a film festival. Shockfest is a film festival, and I believe that's where Steven knows me from. It's a yearly film festival, and I'm a host. I'm an actor.
Okay.
I work with them.
How do you like working at? How do you like doing the conventions? Are conventions something you enjoy working with?
I love going to film festivals because it's all networking. You meet really dope ass people and people that you could work with someday. And it's a lot of fun because it's all a bunch of film geeks in one area, and you're just talking shop. So it's really fun.
Yeah, that kind of I was just talking about conventions yesterday too. It's like it's starting to come, March will probably kick off the official convention season. It does seem
Oh,
like does it seem to start earlier every year or what?
I don't know. I haven't noticed that. Sundance is like now, right? Sundance is now. And then I think after Sundance, that's when all the other festivals come about. It's always, I think, the beginning of the year. Yes. But I think what you meant, every year there are more festivals, and
Oh
that is
gosh.
true. There are more festivals coming about every year, which is great because it's more opportunities to go and meet people and showcase your talent.
Um, as far as back to the horror movies. So besides Rob Zombie, who would you like to work with besides Rob Zombie? Give me 3 other directors whose work that you admire, and is there any role that you wouldn't play? Because horror movies push a lot of actors. They push them, you know, to the point. Like as far as comfortability goes, there's a lot of times people will sit there and say, "This is what we want you to do," and it's really extreme. So, would there be anything in a movie that you would not do per se? And what are the 3 directors who you would like to work with if you got a half a chance?
Okay, besides Rob Zombie, Guillermo del Toro, Guillermo, Robert Rodriguez, Guillermo del Toro, Robert Rodriguez, Rob Zombie. That's 3, but you want one more because Rob Zombie doesn't count.
Yeah, because Robert Rodriguez, he and Del Toro both are just class. I mean, they're just.
Well,
I'm not that big of a zombie fan myself. I'm just being honest with you. I mean, it's a.
I worked with Guillermo's cinematographer that he always works with, whose name is also Guillermo. He directed my episode of Godfather of Harlem. The cinematographer that always works with Guillermo del Toro. His name is also Guillermo. He's another Mexican director. He directed me. And so I got close. I worked with Guillermo del Toro's friend, who was amazing, and I would love to work with him again.
Yeah.
But I want to also work with Guillermo del Toro. And I went up to him and I said I loved Pan's Labyrinth because Guillermo del Toro did that, and Guillermo was the cinematographer for it. And he said, "Thank you, I loved it too."
Okay, well, when you see him next time, I already got the line for you. When you see Guillermo del Toro next time, tell him that you're drift compatible.
Drift compatible?
Yes, you have to tell him that. Tell him you're drift compatible. So maybe he'll get off his ass and make another Pacific Rim movie. Please.
I get what you meant by that. Okay.
Yeah. Have you seen that movie yet? I mean, what type of movies do you like to watch, Grace, when you're not making them? I mean, is there any time? I mean, are horror films, are they also something you want to act in, or are they something that you would want to star in? And again, what role is there? Any roles that you would not do, that you would have a problem with? Put the brakes on.
Wait, I just want to give a shout out. The director that I worked with, who's the cinematographer for Guillermo del Toro, is Guillermo Navarro. Guillermo Navarro directed me in Godfather of Harlem, and he was amazing. I'm looking him up right now. He was the cinematographer for Pan's Labyrinth. He was awesome. Okay. I want to give you another director that I want to work with. There is a director that I'll say, Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson, Mr. 2-0. He just directed me in the gangster film. I want to continue working with him. I love him so much.
Nice.
You asked about a part I wouldn't do. I don't know. I can't tell you that. I will tell you, I do not like it. I have a hard time watching a movie where there is I don't want to say the word, when a woman gets sexually assaulted on camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the horror movie that really did that, I believe it's called The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah.
Where the horrible cannibals, like they,
I'm with you.
They raped the main characters in the movie. That was the most gruesome, disgusting scene in The Hills Have Eyes. I just need to make sure I'm saying it right, that I have ever seen. The Hills Have Eyes, 2006. Is it 2006?
Yeah, that was a remake from the 70s movie.
Oh, yeah, that one was. I mean, it was a great movie, but that scene was horrible, disgusting. I don't feel comfortable doing a scene like that. If I have to do a scene like that, I mean, it better be written well, because I think that scene was too much for me. It was way too much. Yeah. Have you seen the movie?
I've seen that movie. I've seen the original one, and then there's things that I don't watch. There's things that I don't watch. I don't really like those scenes myself. I tend not to watch movies that do that myself.
I have to like cover my eyes, or I have to change the channel, because I'm done. After all the shit that happens in this world, I don't want to see a gruesome rape scene in a movie. I really don't.
No. And a lot of times it's just gratuitous. I had one discussion with one director who he created a fantastic villain. I mean, he did a great job in his writing. He created a fantastic villain, yet he still had his villain do a sexual assault in this movie. And I just said to him, why? It's like, why you didn't need to do that. I mean, you already showed your talent enough in writing who he was. We all knew what he was. We all knew, he's despicable. He's a killer. He's a monster. You already showed us that. You didn't need to throw that on top of it. It was just gratuitous. It wasn't needed. It didn't propel the story any. It didn't help the story any. I mean, I think some directors feel like they need to add that to add more punch. It's like you don't need to do it. I
Well,
mean,
that
if you're
also
good enough, yeah, if
to
you're good enough writer, you've already taken us there.
that also goes back to not only sexual assault scenes, but just, sex scenes in general. I mean, I do feel like sometimes directors just put them in to put them in. And it's like, I didn't need to see that actress's boobs. Like, I mean, I just don't think
You know
it
what's
worked.
it's funny that I was actually under the impression that those movies were dying. Like you really don't see that too much in even in horror films. In horror films, it used to be a staple, like that in teen comedies. You would
Oh,
always show nudity. I always thought that was going away. I guess maybe I'm not watching the right thing or enough of it, but I guess there's more of that saltiness out there than I realized.
I mean,
Oh, real quick here,
yeah.
our good friend Jeff Clark here is also a fine director and actor.
Oh,
Yes, actually he's New York based as well.
oh,
Uh,
yay! Hi.
I agree. Rape scenes I can't watch. Even the rape scene in Pulp Fiction, I couldn't watch it to this day. I fast forward through it. Not my kind of thing either. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not about that. Yeah, and I don't know. To me, it's just like to ask an actor to not only a lot of times we always talk about the women in the scene. Like the women. I dare say you got to talk about the guy too. You got to sit there and say, what is it doing to him?
Right.
Like I knew one actor who had to do a really rough scene with a woman, really rough, and he said that every time they yelled cut, he was going over to her, making sure she was all right. He was turning around, he was cutting jokes, he was making people laugh because he just felt like he just felt. He said he felt like he needed to take a shower. He
Oh,
just hated, and he wanted to make sure his scene partner was safe and was all right, and off camera, he shed some tears.
really?
Yes, because it was a very traumatic, yeah, it was very traumatic. He's supposed to be doing something like that to this woman, and that's not who he was. It's not who he is. But
So,
he's being asked to do that, so he was really concerned with it. You know,
talking about Pulp Fiction, that brings me back, talking about guys getting sexually assaulted, the famous movie Deliverance.
yes,
But
that baby.
Deliverance, for some reason, I mean, horrible, it was a horrible scene, but that scene worked because that was like the climax of the movie of why these guys were in trouble, because that horrible thing happened to them. Their friend Burt Reynolds rescued them, and then the whole part of the movie is, okay, what do we do now? Because now we're getting hunted by these men, and do we tell the authorities? Like, that worked because that's what
Hmm.
the movie was about. But when you put in a sexual assault scene or a sex scene, just to put it in to get the viewers like, watching or interested, it really does show, at least for people that are in the industry, and I don't appreciate it. Again, like I said, if you're gonna do a sex scene or even a horrible sexual assault scene, it has to be good writing, because writing will really change the game.
It
And
really will.
directing, but I think writing is what's really, it's gonna make it look good or not good. So
Let's see. And Steven's mentioning Bill Obrist Jr. did that with Tiffany Fest for Circus of the Dead. Yeah. Oh gosh. Yes. I mean, a lot of these actors, they do look out for their scene partners. It's rough. It's rough.
Bill Albers Jr. I actually know him from Shockfest Film Festival because I was hosting and he was a guest. What movie was that? Can I look that up?
Circus of the Dead. Bill
Sir
Oberst is one of the nicest human beings I've met on here.
was really nice when I
Yeah,
met him.
he's a deep man. He's a deep man.
He's a real nice actor, very good character actor.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
good.
He's. Let's see. So you working with Godfather Harlem. Now you got to work with an Oscar winner there in Forrest Whitaker Jr. Were you able to get any scenes with him when you were doing the dance scene? Did you have a chance to interact with him?
He was in my scene watching me and my co-star Yul Vasquez dance, but he didn't interact with us.
Oh,
But he was in the scene. He was like
right.
5 feet away from me, like watching me like dance and be flirtatious with Yul, who's an amazing actor, by the way. I love Yul.
Uh-huh.
Um, but no, I didn't get to speak to him. No, I want
Oh,
to be professional as possible. I mean, this is Forrest,
right.
Oscar winning actor. I'm not going to go up to him. I mean, no,
No.
there's no way.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you are a dancer. You are a fine dancer, and you're multi-talented too. You've already established that you play guitar. We also know that you're trilingual. You speak three languages:
Mhm.
Italian and Spanish and English.
Yeah.
And now you're also a very good dancer. Um, where did that drive come from to learn all these skills? I mean, was this something that when you see something you like, like I feel like, do you wake up and go like, I feel like learning a new skill today? Is that what it does with you? Do you just feel like saying, I want to learn how to cook, so I'm going to do that, or is it
Oh,
just
I do actually talking about cook. I love cooking, and I can't wait to be a mom so I can cook for my family. That's me. That's wholesome. I can't wait to be that wife that just cooks for her husband and her family. Of course, being an actress, I don't ever want to stop being an actor, but I do love cooking. You mentioned cooking. I mean, I cook now for my family, but the drive. I mean, the drive really came from my mom because she always said to me, the more versatile you are, the more opportunities you're going to have. And she's absolutely right. The more you could do, the more chances you're going to get auditions because people are writing everything nowadays for characters. People are having characters like, do skiing. People are having characters play guitar. People are having characters dance. And if you could do all those things, horseback riding, even, if you could do
right?
all those things, then you could get all those auditions, then you can meet more people. And I mean, who doesn't always want to learn a skill? You
For
always
me,
want
I
to learn.
just look at I've seen actors with their resumes, and they say what skills they can do and what and dialects they can speak, and it's like, I'm just thinking, wow, look at you, you're so young and you've already accomplished so much. And I'm just looking at your skill set and I'm going like, that's what I was saying before. I was so impressed. It's like looking at your skill set and I'm going like, man, she's just started and look what she's already accomplished. I
Oh
mean,
my,
I
I,
think casting directors, I don't think, I do think that a manager should be approaching you anytime. Because if I was, like I said, if I was a manager material, I would see what you have to offer, and that's exactly that's the type of person I want. Film, TV, theater experience. That's plus creative skills and learning the language, dancing and playing guitar, music. I mean, to me, that's just like, wow, that's a kind of a well-rounded performer that you want to take as a manager to find them, to get them going, to work with them, because you're gonna, like I said, they're always going to be busy when it comes down to working with you. You're going to be in demand, and I do think that will happen for you relatively soon, as far as that goes. Um, but I like the idea of you going out there tomorrow and calling your agent and saying, yeah, start putting me in front of some live theater. I like that. See, that's the kind of ambition and drive that gets you ahead in this business. You got to have that. You got to keep swimming. You can't stop swimming.
and it's not, I really want to be in like movies. Like I want to do 3 movies a year. I'll be happy. I want to do movies. That's my main thing. But if I could do anything to help me get there, that could put my name out there for people to see, then yeah, I'm going to do it. in live theater, people get to know you and you practice your skills in front of an audience, and it's very nerve-wracking, but the feeling is amazing. So yeah, I am going to tell my agent that. And by the way, I didn't always have these skills. I just started, I mean, I danced when I was young, but I just started doing it professionally in 2019, right before COVID. And I started with salsa. Now I do salsa, I do bachata. As long as they give me a good partner, a good male dancer, like I effing kill it. So that's what I love to do. I love doing Latin dancing. And I didn't always speak Spanish or Italian. My parents did not speak to me in Spanish or Italian, which is okay. That's what happens. But I took it upon myself to take classes and learn because I cared about my culture, my cultures. I cared about my cultures. And I think when people care about their cultures, I think they should learn the language. That's
Now,
how I.
are you based in New York still, or are you in Los Angeles now?
No, I'm based in New York, and I love it. My agent is in LA. I'm bi-coastal, but I really want to get to know. I would love a New York manager, but if I get an LA manager, that's great because I could always go back to LA because I am an LA local. But I would love to meet filmmakers from New York, and I think maybe a New York manager could do that.
I was going to say, as for your other skills, I mean, there's a lot of places that do dancing in New York, and if you want to speak Spanish and Italian, I can't think of a better city than to go down to the neighborhood and talk. Do you do
Yeah,
that? Do you go down to Italian areas and speak Italian just to keep your just to keep that sharp?
you just got to talk with everyone. I mean,
That's
my
so
less
cool.
my lessons are, video. It's a live person there. So it's not like I'm going to forget my skills because you just need to talk with people. You can't just be doing the apps and learning the language. You need to talk. You need to speak.
Right,
So,
right.
but I do talk to people when I'm outside. If they come up to me, yeah, it's all speaking. That's how you learn a language. And if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. You just got to keep going.
So what are your my last question for you today, tonight, is where do you see yourself going in 2024? What do you hope to accomplish? Do you have like a set of goals that like 3 or 4 things you want to accomplish during this year?
Yes, all the productions right now that I am in talks with and to doing, let's just say that 3, I want them all to be filmed and I want them to do amazing.
Right.
That's my goal. The 3 productions that I'm already in talks with now. The gangster movie that I did film that's going to come out soon, or when it does come out, I want it to do great. Of course, I want it to get good publicity, and I want people to see me as this amazing, amazing. I want people to believe me that I'm this dangerous young woman cartel leader because it's the first time I've played a role like that, and I'm going to keep playing dark roles like that. I want to do dark roles because, as you can see, I'm not a dark person.
No, no,
Not,
no. You're very bright.
I'm bright, which is fine, but I want to do the opposite of what I am. That's what a real, no, I don't want to say a real actor does, but that's what an actor does. They play people that are not them, and that's what I want to accomplish. So I want that movie to do well in the with the ratings. My dream is to be a lead in my own Netflix show. That's my dream. I mean,
Sure.
my dream, yeah, a horror Netflix show would be amazing. My other dream is really just to be a scream queen. So I want to do more horror films. I want to do more horror films throughout my life. This year would be great. I would love to do a big horror film, but having my own.
I hear they have a couple of spots open for Scream 7.
Oh, yeah. I would love to audition for that. I mean, it's a shame what happened there. It's a shame. But I mean, I would audition. It's a job.
Why not? Yeah. Hey, openings, I'm there. Yeah. All right.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
um, I mean that was a hard thing that happened, but it did happen. So, but I can see you definitely doing some horror films, definitely for sure. I can see you doing more auditions and someone giving you a chance to scream. Are you a good screamer? Do you have lungs?
Yes.
Okay, you got to ask that because that's important.
I've
Uh,
never
have
smoked.
you
My
have you ever
son
seen have you ever seen a movie called Blowout with John Travolta?
looking it up. No, I have not. Do you recommend
Oh,
it?
highly recommend that one. That was
Nice.
by Brian De Palma.
1981 film. Okay.
Super good. It's really good. Have a box of Kleenex though. But
Okay.
it's a
Oh,
great film.
this seems great.
Yeah, my second favorite De Palma film.
I
Really
love,
really underrated.
I really do.
It's funny. We're talking about playing dark characters. Going against your who you are. In real life, and it was really strange. Just up to that point, uh, I seen John Lithgow, and John Lithgow had always played a good guy. He always played a sympathetic character and everything else. He did The World According to Garp, and then he played a villain in Blowout.
I'm reading. Yeah.
Holy cow! Yeah, change the looks. You don't look at him ever the same again because he could do. He's really good at it. I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
yeah, a lot of people remember him from Third Rock from the Sun, but it's like, oh, you got to go back and watch some of the stuff he does, some of the heavy stuff he does. He's a fantastic villain. All right. Do we have any rounds? I got any questions? I see Steven says the day that Grace Juliana makes a cookbook, I'm buying.
Ah!
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
There you go. There you go. All right. Did anybody have any questions for our guest before we let her go for the night? Um, but if not, then people can leave a comment down below and ask your questions there. If you're watching the replay of this and you have a question for Grace Juliana, leave it down in the questions down below. I will make sure that she gets it. We also have all your socials will be on down in the description box. So if you want to stay in touch with Grace Juliana and track her career and stop by and say hello, you can do that as well. And Steven remembers John Lithgow from Harry and the Hendersons. See, that's what I mean. Everybody remembers him doing all these fun and light roles. Wait till you see Blowout. It'll change your mind of him forever.
Okay.
Um,
I have it right here. I'm gonna.
all right. Tomorrow night, we will have one of our very own on the show. We'll have our good friend Dell from Dell on Movies. He'll be our special guest tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. On Friday, don't forget on Friday, the big show Friday, I'll be joined by special co-host Al Lucard, aka the Bat. The Bat and the Cat are reuniting. We will be interviewing Raymond Murray from Cinephobia Releasing. They released our number one film of 2023, which was Brightwood, and now we'll be talking to the man behind Brightwood, seeing the big screen, and that will be Raymond Murray. You should watch that show.
Okay.
That guy, fantastic guy. Ray Murray is he's amazing. And then, of course, Saturday the 13th, we will be welcoming in Elizabeth Chamberlain from the film Grotesque, and she'll be here on a matinee show at 3 p.m. That's it for us. Thank you guys all in the chat for coming out. Jeff, Echo, Stephen, Eden, thank you guys all for coming out. We will see you tomorrow, 8 o'clock with Dell. Grace, you have two certain names. I was like, Grace, stay right where you're at. And to everybody else, we'll say good night. Thank you for your support. We'll see you soon. Peace.